A few episodes ago, I was in Ottawa, the nation's capital for Canada. Well, not to leave out my American friends, I decided to return the favor, and here I am at your nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Good Marc TV morning. You know, there are so many awesome stories that I could tell being here in Washington, D.C. I'm just here for a few days for a conference that I'm speaking at, but I got the pleasure of staying right here at the Willard Hotel. And if there's ever a place in the world or in the United States where there are massive amounts of opportunities, this is probably the place. And I want to share with you two really cool stories that took place right in here. I'm here in the sitting room of the Willard Hotel, and a lot of people ask me when they find out I'm a speaker, they say, oh, you know what, I want to be able to do great presentations, I want to be able to speak really well, but I don't think I have what it takes. Well, I want to tell you this story. Back on August 27th, 1963, in this very room sat an individual who was trying to come up with a great presentation, but he was having a heck of a time doing it. He spent all night sitting in this very room with his staff and his writers, and they had a typewriter, and they were just typing all night, trying to find the perfect words, the perfect phrases, how to put his thoughts and ideas on paper and make it sound right. Well, that individual presented the next day, August 28th, 1963, about 6 blocks from here on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. And that speech changed, many would argue, the course of America and the rights of individuals. That individual was Martin Luther King Jr., and that speech was his I Have a Dream speech. But the night before, he was a nervous wreck, and he might have been sitting right where I am right now, trying to get the words just right. So don't put so much pressure on yourself, because if a guy like Martin Luther King Jr. has to spend all night getting those words, those phrases, and those ideas just right to have the greatest impact, well, I think it's only fair that people like you and me should spend some all-nighters too. This is the lobby of the Willard Hotel, and I want to tell you a really cool story. Back in the late 1800s, the president at the time, Ulysses S. Grant, who obviously was in the White House, probably like just actually about a block from here, used to like to smoke cigars, and his wife never allowed him to smoke cigars in the White House. So what he would do is he would sneak out the back and come over here to the Willard and hang out here in the lobby and, you know, enjoy a good cigar and a drink. Well, those individuals from different industries and companies who were trying to have some influence in the government knew that he was hanging out here. Word kind of got out that, well, this was his unofficial favorite hangout. So those business owners or industry representatives would kind of come and hang with him and become buddies with him and eventually try to influence decisions that were made in Congress to allow them to either advance their interests or change laws or whatnot to allow them to do industry, to do business in a certain way or run their industry in a certain way. Well, that's how the term lobbyist came to be, because they all met here in the lobby. So there's an opportunity there if you want to kind of look at it as, you know, these individuals, they saw him there. Instead of waiting to do things sort of formally or by the book, they jumped at the chance to spend some time with a person of influence, and who has more influence than the President of the United States. So two really cool stories for you. If you ever get a chance to come to Washington, I encourage you to come by the Willard Hotel. Even if you're just walking through it, they got a great place down the hall on the other side where you can walk through and learn about the history of this place and all the presidents that have stayed here, including Lincoln and a lot of celebrities like Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. This hotel is quite a place. So with that, I'm Marc Gordon, and as always, you've been watching Marc TV.